Okay, so this is sort of really home baked. I called someone at News Channel 3 in Las Vegas, and they gave me the name of a person who archives anything that's been put on the air. And I was told to go and find this particular clip. And I'm going to play it for you now because I'm really astounded by it. Don't mind the wiggling on the phone, but it's Deputy Sheriff Lombardo when he was running for sheriff, and they're interviewing him. And this part of the interview is very interesting. And when you're done watching this, I want you to ask yourself, why is my husband Jerry DeLemus in jail? I don't understand it. All right, let's see if this works.
Welcome back. Jeff Gillen with Amy Tarkanian, Rory Reed. This is Assistant Sheriff Joe Lombardo. This is Sheriff Week. We're talking to the candidates for Metro Sheriff. Real quick, there's been a lot in the news. I'm going to talk about Bunkerville and the Bundy situation. Do you think it's time that we move the militia out of Bunkerville?
No. Well, first of all, let me put it this way. How can we move the militia out?
I don't know.
You know, is it a violation of the First Amendment by moving them? They're on private property, okay? The property owners is giving them the ability to be there. They're not violating any laws associated with their beliefs. So where's the authority come from to remove them outside of their constitutional rights?
And what do you say to, because we've been getting reports, and Congressman Horsford said, look, residents have complained to him. They're uneasy with the militia members up there and that type of thing. There were some reports, although that's been disputed, that there were checkpoints up in Bunkerville and that type of thing. So what you're saying is, look, there's really no legal foundation at this point to really move them out because they're not doing anything illegal.
Exactly. You know, those reports were brought forward to Doug Gillespie, and we were tasked with researching those complaints.
So you conducted an investigation?
Yes. Well, I wouldn't classify it as investigation. We did some surveillance and research, and put our eyes on the subject matter and determined there wasn't any violations as described.
How dangerous was it up there? I mean, the BLM backed off. You guys kind of, stood back too. How dangerous was it? What were you seeing?
Well, my fear, to categorize it, it was very dangerous. Okay, and you probably see me in the press or in the media with the hair was up on the back of my neck. I was out there in the front, leading in the front, representing Las Vegas Metro. It was scary. We had a large number of individuals armed to the teeth. That's the best way to describe it. And my fear is we had an accidental discharge or a backfire by a vehicle, or an individual ran over on the highway. That would instigate a full-out war.
Let me ask you about another issue that also deals with aggression.
So one thing I just want to do a quick thing about is, what are your rights? If you don't know what your rights are, you've probably already lost them. The reason I say that is because if you expect your captor to know your rights and protect them, then you're crazy and you have Stockholm syndrome, and you need to study and learn about what that is. Your captor is never going to tell you what your rights are. That is your responsibility. So for anybody who waves an American flag or has a stake in the United States of America, I want to challenge you to go out and learn what your rights are. Again, your captor will never tell you what your rights are. So learn the United States Constitution. Learn what your rights of free speech are. Learn what your right to keep and bear arms, what that means, to keep and bear arms. That includes felons, right? That includes anybody who people in Nevada, most of their dangerous charges that they're facing are regarding their weapons charges. How can it be that our United States Constitution gives us the right to keep and bear arms, and that when we actually exercise that right, we end up in federal prison? This is what I do not understand as to why more people are not rising up to protect people like the Bundys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was outside doing chores, so I was a little bit farther away from my Wi-Fi. At any rate, that's why I cannot understand why more people did not go and stand with the Bundys. Every time people get upset about what they did, the question we need to ask them is, were they within their constitutional right? And if they were, regardless of how we feel about what the stand was that they were taking, we as Americans have to protect them. We have to unite and stand with other principled people who are fighting for their rights. Know what your rights are. If you don't know what your rights are, you don't have any rights. You truly have no rights. Understand your rights against unwarranted searches and seizures. Understand what that means so that if you end up getting pulled over and an officer says to you, "Can I search your car?" your answer is to be, "Not without a warrant." Not without a warrant that I can look at. I remember watching a video that Myron did up at Standing Rock. It was at the very beginning when they took his drone away that he had flying over the reservation. They pulled him over, they removed him from his car, they searched it, they found the drone, and then they released him. They had no warrant. He asked over and over again for that warrant. This should be a really big deal to other Americans. If they can do this to one person, they can do it to us all. That's what people don't understand about our constitutional rights and why we need to unite and stand together when these things happen. If they're taking away the rights of the people, I don't care if you agree with what Myron is doing out at Standing Rock or if you disagree. The bottom line is, when they searched his vehicle, they had no warrant to show him. They wouldn't answer his questions. This was a couple months ago. They were incredibly disrespectful to him. They stole his property. That's theft. I don't care if you have a gun and a badge. It does not mean that you can steal other people's property. You guys, we have to pull our heads out of this whole mentality that we're so thankful when the police don't completely beat us up. If they're taking away your rights, they are completely beating you up. Understand what your rights are and then start living freely within them. That's one of the easiest first steps that you can take to start becoming a true American, a proud American, an American that our founding fathers would have welcomed into this country. The first thing you can do is start living within your rights. And then when your rights are violated, call the police officers out for violating them and stand with other people who are also having their rights violated. This isn't about activism. A family member recently said to me that, guys, I've been asleep my whole life. I'm not an activist. I have friends. I have a normal life. Okay, I've never been to jail. I'm not a threat to society. The only person I'm a threat to is a tyrannical government. So the only person I'm a threat to is a tyrannical government. And the only way I'm going to be a threat to them is if I know and understand what my rights are and I live within those rights. And if I have people around me who are willing to stand with me and help me protect my rights and the rights of my children. Because once we're gone, who's going to protect these rights for our children? You guys, I don't think that it's crazy for me to believe that in my lifetime that we will see some really severe imprisonment for people who live within their rights in the Constitution. Also with Christians, I think we're going to see that in my lifetime. So now is the time to start figuring out what your rights are, because they're already being violated. Every day your rights are being violated. And it's not just about this prideful mentality that I have rights, you need to obey and honor them. If we don't have our rights, then we're only one step away from prison, right? One step away. If you have no rights, anything you do, they can basically deem you a criminal. That's really scary. So, and it's happening to our families, to our friends, the people we care about. We're seeing them, people being killed. It's absolutely crazy, the things that are going on. And burying your head in the sand, all that does is cause you, one, to abandon your post as in your birthright as an American, but two, it puts those who were counting on you for protection in jeopardy. It puts your children in jeopardy. It puts your neighbors in jeopardy.